What do we have here? So the first thing I'm looking at is Nike Town London, Erling Haaland.
Yeah, so Nike's always been a big client when I was at Niantic and Eighth Wall. Probably like a top five brand in terms of using
Hmm.
AR. One of the things that they're pretty good at is using it like out of home and in store. So OMM, the agency that worked on that one, they had a great one on the Eighth Wall platform. Might have even been before I started there in 2020 for Nike Air Max Day, where they had a bunch of interactive things in the store itself. So this one, as you obviously know, like out of home and AR is picking up steam and it's interesting and fun. So that one was one where they captured Erling Haaland at Dimension Studio, did a volumetric capture of him. And for the opening of that store, they placed him on top of it. That avatar, they did some smart stuff behind the scenes, like they were like switching out the image target based on time of day to make sure that the placement was really good on it. But I think what's really cool about that one is they got Erling Haaland to go and actually like interact with his avatar in the space and then share it on social media. I mean, a lot of times people think like just the AR itself is enough to draw people, and a lot of people did interact with that. They did go to the store, but the ability to actually like recycle some of the assets you used and have the person who has the reach get the visibility to the AR, I think is like super helpful for both Nike and for OMM. And I think it was a smart way to do it and kind of fun, like a little cheeky way where he looks back at himself on top of the building is makes you smile.
The next one, what are we looking at here? Jumanji.
Yeah, so this was an early one. This was basically like right when I started at Eighth Wall, and this one I thought was great because first of all, the agency behind it, Trigger, like a big time partner of Eighth Wall, always doing good work in the entertainment space. And I think this one, combined a couple different things. One was, the map-based function where you could like choose where you want to go on the actual map. They had celebrities introducing the actual experience. And then they also integrated voice interaction with it. So I believe it was Amazon Lex that they used. So you could actually interact with the map verbally. And I think, from a marketing perspective, anytime a company brings in a piece of, tech that's outside of the AR itself, it kind of adds some cachet to it. So that voice interaction was kind of new and exciting. And the other thing that I really appreciate about Trigger, we turned that experience into a case study itself, was that they added the analytics to it to actually like get the results so that when your
Hmm.
clients come back to you, you can say like, this is how long people interacted with it. This is the dwell time, a favorite word of Tom Emmerich, dwell time, in the experience itself.
Dwell
Uh,
time. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So like those are numbers that are easily capturable, but you have to do it before you actually like launch the experience. So really appreciate Trigger like putting together that experience. They did a great, I don't know if they did it or if it was Sony, they did a great video to highlight the work. I think it was included in either DVD or digital download of the movie, so distribution there was good. But yeah, like so we're definitely seeing in the space, or at least I was seeing for the last 4 years, a demand for ROI from the brands. They want to see like how did this perform, and that's a case where they put in the work to get the analytics to prove that it performed well and that people cared about the experience.
Cool. All right. Well, let's look at Pizza Hut and Pac-Man. What is this here?
This is like my all-time favorite experience to talk about because it pulls everything together. It's got like the perfect combination of a marketing.
Nostalgia.
Yep, exactly. So it's actually called Nostalgia. That was like the pitch that they were going for, and that's because people, are embracing nostalgia now, but they have these new technologies. They have phones, right? So this was for a limited time pizza that you could order where it had a Pac-Man game like drawn on top of the box. You pull out your phone, scan the QR code, and play the actual Pac-Man game. And then you could win retro arcade game prizes for playing. So a couple things I thought I did really well. It combined like you had to order the special pizza. So it was driving action, driving ROI. I actually talked to the people behind this one, and they said the hardest part was getting all those pizza boxes printed out with the Pac-Man game on it. The AR was comparatively easy
That
to get
was easy.
the boxes. Yeah, yeah. And then they did a great campaign for this where they had like TV commercials with Craig Robinson from The Office promoting it. They added to other pizza boxes that they were ordering at the time to get you to want to order that particular pizza. And I think, they went out and they captured the social sentiment around this promotion. And then they, included that in the package of why the actual AR worked. So again, like when you go back to these media agencies after you do the ARs for the debriefs, you want to be able to capture all these other data points that are not just the AR specifically. So the dwell time, I'm sure, was great on the Pac-Man game. I don't know specifically what the amount was, but but they also like found stuff like the number of social shares mentioning the AR experience. And you can even go back to how many pizzas. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about how many pizzas were sold. And the fact they're running out of those pizza boxes tells you that it was a successful campaign.
Why is it that AR agencies and tech people in general are maybe reluctant, or maybe they don't like it? Like, what do they have against LinkedIn, in your opinion?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of them have excuses why they don't do it. It's like, I'm a founder. I don't need to be on LinkedIn. I just need to run a company. Or, LinkedIn is for buttoned up, white collar professionals. It's not, but I think one of the things is like the people are saying who they are, the work they've done. Like you get a full history of what people have done. You get a sense
Mm,
of who they are, where they're from, how they spend their days and stuff like that. And so I think it's underused because people think of it as more of like a brute force sales tactic than a fun avenue. You can have fun on LinkedIn. Like one of my favorite things to do on LinkedIn was compile lists of like the best web AR. So last year I came up with the fake awards called the web ARs, kind of like the Augies or the Emmys or whatever. And so I just picked a bunch of categories like best sky effect, best use of avatars, whatever. I'm sure that Erling Haaland won one for some sort of award because it was unique and interesting and new. So
how did you survey the whole AR landscape in order to pick the winners?
yeah, see, this is the thing about made up awards that are fun. I just picked whichever ones I like best. And I
Love
disclaimed that
it.
every single time. I had an asterisk saying these are just my personal opinion. They're very heavy on eighth wall because I was at eighth wall at the time.
I love
Um,
it. I love that. Okay, so by the time this clip goes out, I think the webinar should be a day or so later. But so the
yep.
webinar is Tuesday. Can you just tell a little bit about what's happening in the
Yeah,
webinar and
so
when it
I'm doing
is?
the webinar on July 30th. So if you're watching this after July 30th, you missed a great webinar. It's on LinkedIn sales prospecting and posting techniques. So all the secret tricks that I use to build up the profile of web AR and just AR in general on LinkedIn these last 4 years.
Yeah.
But I think, I'm certainly not averse to maybe helping companies out by doing the presentation directly to like their company because LinkedIn is a group-based activity. It's like your company working together to post stuff. So I'll highlight some of the work some of the best agencies on LinkedIn, like Air Cards does amazing work on their LinkedIn approach. Groove Jones, they've always been really good at promoting their work on there. Atomic Digital, I mentioned, they're great too. So I'm going to be pulling from all these kind of like great agencies that over time have refined the process to show other companies how they can like borrow from the best, I think is what I'd say.
So I think you might be, before we finish, last question, you might be
Yep.
the be best person to answer this. Um, so the world of AR, maybe
Mhm.
VR, and in general, immersive technologies in general, but especially AR, we go through ups and downs, meaning, the wave, this is this is now peaking, and then we go through a down cycle where people are like, oh, AR is dead or
Mhm.
dying. But I imagine you being the hype man, you've never been down on it. So what do you think right now? What do you think? Do you think we're in a up cycle, a down cycle, and how, what do you see for the near future?
Yeah, I think we're in a mature part of the cycle now. Like in the early days of web AR, for example, every brand wanted to try it, see the results, get involved with it, especially when people were at home, during COVID, wanting to do interaction on the phone, stuff like that. Now I think you're seeing a lot of AR that's, part of other campaigns. They're part of bigger like out of home campaigns or sponsorships or stuff, which is a mature piece. So it's a piece of technology that you put into other things. It's not like a standalone thing anymore. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna go build a website. Oh, I'm gonna go build AR. It's just something that I think feels a lot more mature than it did when I started there. I mean, like the fact that TikTok has AR via, Effect House, the fact that you just go to any conference, there's going to be AR there, there's going to be VR there. It's just like a part of life. And I think some people maybe got a little out over their skis thinking that the Apple Vision Pro is going to change the game when I don't think that was ever Apple's idea. It was to like get it out there, get feedback. It was never going to be a mass adoption, certainly not at that price point. So I think the trough of disillusionment, if you will, is mainly based on people that are only thinking of it as standalone, as opposed to being part of like the bigger ecosystem of advertising. I mean, I spent a lot of time the last couple of years at like WPP, IPG, Omnicom offices. They're the ones that have, like the budget, the media budgets, and they're all aware of AR. I was training them up on the capabilities of AR, so they're all aware of it. They're just looking for the right campaigns to put it into.
Well, that leads me to one more question I have to ask. Are you excited about AR outside the field of entertainment, gaming, advertising, like the fun field?
Yeah.
I mean, can AR be taken seriously, outside of this?
Yeah, no, I definitely you don't hear about it because it doesn't get marketed as much, but like healthcare actually has seen kind of a big uptick in AR for training purposes and just educating consumers on stuff. I have a 5-year-old, so like, he plays Pokemon Go with me. You can do Pokemon Go and AR. So like it's becoming a part of life where he just accepts it as a normal technology. So from like an educational standpoint, I think there's a lot of value in AR also. Partially because it's memorable. Like we spend so much time doing stuff that's disposable on screens that's not necessarily interactive. So the interactivity of it is like interesting and valuable too. So definitely use cases outside of the fun version. It's just those probably don't get the amount of like hype that something for Pizza Hut or Pepsi
Mm,
or big brands do because they have these giant budgets behind it. But no, I had a bunch of educational clients at Eighth Wall that are doing great stuff in the field. Like North Carolina State's done a bunch of good stuff. Virginia Tech's done some good stuff. University of Arizona has done some
okay.
good. So I think we'll see it as a again, like you go to USC for media studies, right? They'll just incorporate AR as a piece of your media studies at USC. It's just going to be like a part of the educational process, and then you'll see it incorporated into all sorts of other use cases. Maybe not getting the marketing excitement that the Fortune 500 or food companies or sports companies get, but it's out there for sure.
Yep. Exciting. Andrew, I will see you in the webinar. Thank you so much again
Yes,
for joining.
you got it. Thanks for having me. All right, see you, Tan.